hearing about all these medicine shortages, which really blows my mind that here we are, a first world country, a country that is pretty much known as the best country to live in, the most advanced country to live in all across the world. Some major pharmaceutical shortages. Questions are, is it because the demand is so high? Is it because more people are needing pharmaceuticals? Is it the fact that we're not producing a lot of those here in America? Maybe it's because they're overseas. What are some of the reasons for that? Again, America having these issues. Now let's also discuss maybe some herbal remedies that could help us through when we can't get the medicine. Also, we'll talk about some emergency preparedness for that. So it's going to be a good video. Hopefully this video will help. Hopefully it'll open your eyes and maybe help us understand that we really do not need to be wrapped in on something that we're having to put in our body all the time, because all of a sudden when a shortage comes, what are we going to do? Now, some things we can't help, but then it comes back to, should we stockpile more? What are some options there? Maybe we need to really learn foraging and herbal medicine, because it may come a time when that's all we have. And our main concern is hopefully you're helping your family get through this. Try not to panic, but understand there's some shortages out there that can really affect our families when it comes to pharmaceuticals. So let's jump right into it. This video starts right now. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so much for being here. We hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. If you're new to the Max, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell. It doesn't cost anything, but we hope that you'll give us a thumbs up or thumbs down. But mainly, we want you to comment and tell us what you liked or don't like about this video. Also, maybe if you have some words of wisdom, something that can help other people in the comment section to help them get through whatever they're going through. Maybe you have some insight on some other herbal remedies. Love the comment section. Thank you so much for always putting your opinion in there and also putting your words of wisdom. So thank you so much for that. So let's jump right into the video. So we've heard Adderall, of course, amoxicillin, which we've been talking about literally for almost a month now. We're hearing Albuterol. We're hearing even down to Tamiflu because the flu season's so crazy right now. And then we're also hearing some diabetic medicine that are starting to be in short supply. Well, I ask again, why in America are we seeing that? So let's start with amoxicillin. Amoxicillin has been in shortage for about a month, I know, because we've talked about it about a month ago in another video. But the question is why? Why are we in short supply? Someone interviewed someone of the FDA and they said, well, it's just because it's in such high demand because of the time of sickness that we're going through. The question I always would come back to is, we always deal with strep. We always deal with a winter that tends to throw in a lot of respiratory issues, a lot of infections, especially with our children. They're in school, they're hanging out with their friends, and they're slobbering everywhere, and they're passing all that sickness around. The question is, why are we not more prepared for that in America? If we're in short supply, why are we in short supply? So here's the questions I would want to ask. Is it because a lot of these are on back order, or is it because we're ordering from overseas? Is there enough competition? Is there enough people in the drug administration and the big pharmas? Is it because we don't have enough competition there? Is why we can't get it produced? Some of those questions really rein in, is saying, okay, our kids are getting sicker, and all of a sudden amoxicillin's in short supply. Why is it in short supply? Maybe we need more competition. Maybe we need to take some of the regulatory bodies off of it to where we can get more companies working on it. Maybe if we started doing more on our own soil, it may make a difference. Just some good questions to ask. Now let's talk about Adderall. Adderall is used, again, for ADHD, again, for children most of the time. And what's so sad is the reasons they're saying is because of labor shortages. Adderall is also considered a Schedule II controlled substance, so DEA is all in it. It's a lot more regulations on it. Adderall is an amphetamine-based stimulant. So it really affects people's moods and the way they act. And I think if we start seeing drugs like this and prescriptions like this being shortage, unlike amoxicillin being where it is treating sickness, we're starting to see Adderall is going to affect people more in a psychological fact, I think. We're going to see not only sickness, now we're going to start seeing some more psychological problems. Again, I'm not, if you take any of these pharmaceuticals, I'm sorry that you're even going through this. But like this report says, an Adderall is used for ADHD, it's used for anxiety, it's used for depression, it's used for insomnia. So if we see those treatments which really deals with the psychological buildup of our human body and the way we converse in our everyday life. You know, if we can't control anxiety, if we can't control depression, if we can't control insomnia, what effect is that going to have on the general populace? What's our next step? So if we can't have those things, and if our bodies get used to those controlled substances, what's the next step? So we see sickness with amoxicillin, especially with children. You see ADHD and is being treated with Adderall, but more than that, the anxiety, the depression, the insomnia is treated with it. You're really starting to mess with the psyche of people, I believe. And I think that could cause a lot of issues. So in 2013, 2014, the amount of Adderall prescribed was around 4 million people were taking Adderall for the year. Since then, in 2022, they said since the lockdowns, it's went up by like hundreds of percent. It says that this year alone, from 2020 to 2022, the numbers they're getting back is that there is more than 26 million prescriptions. So you've had 4 million prescriptions around 2013, 2014, and then 26 million now. Think of that. Think how many people that is impacting. Think of how many children that's impacting. Think how many people are dealing with anxiety, insomnia, or depression. That can be some major issues. So now we're seeing a labor shortage. We're seeing supply shortages. And because of that, now you're seeing these pharmaceuticals not being able to get made. I go back and say we are making a dependent society on a lot of these pharmaceuticals, and then we cannot supply the demand. DEA is over it. There's a lot more regulatory bodies because of the dangers of sometimes Adderall being abused. Then what do we do to fix that? Do we open up more pharmaceuticals here in America? Do we deregulate a little bit? How do we get a hold of fixing this issue? You know, then it goes back to, are we prescribing some of these things a little too much? Are we seeing more people purchase these things and maybe not need them? So now it's becoming a dependency issue. There's a lot of questions there that we really need to find answers to. Tamiflu, I want you to take it if you feel like you need it for viruses. We personally would not take Tamiflu. Hopefully our goal is to get through those viruses without having to treat the symptoms, because that's kind of what Tamiflu does. And again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying we try to stay away from Tamiflu. But the things that scare me is two more shortages. So now we're starting to see an Albuterol inhaler shortage. There's several parts of the United States that are not able to get their hands on that. We're also starting to see a shortage with some diabetic type 2 medicine. It's for two different reasons. With Albuterol, we're seeing, because of some of the respiratory issues that people are having with the flu, but also with some of the respiratory sicknesses that we're having this year, again, Albuterol is coming in short supply. Well, if you have allergies or you have asthma, Albuterol inhalers are a big deal. That could be very life-threatening if we don't have some of those treatments. And then on the other side, again, with diabetes, if we're not able to get those pharmaceuticals to those individuals who need a life-sustaining prescription, what are those people to do? If they're on the short list now, and we're having labor issues and supply issues with all these other prescriptions, with the diabetic medicine, they're seeing that a lot of people are taking it for weight management. They've gotten where people are prescribing this for weight management, which scares me. I'm not saying you shouldn't lose weight, but if we are now taking something like a medicine that may be life-sustaining for a diabetic, and then we're just taking it for weight management, there may not be enough for that. So the supply and demand needs to be really focused on the ones that actually need this medicine. Same way with our Albuterol. If we don't have that, if some of these kids have major asthma or major respiratory issues, Albuterol might be there to help them get through a major ordeal. It says that in the study that they were talking about Albuterol, they said it's actually been short in supply since the lockdowns because of all the use with respiratory issues dealing with the lockdowns. So over the last 2 years, we've not able to build our supply back up. The bigger problem with all these drugs and all these pharmaceuticals that are in short supply is, when are we ever going to get to the point where we are in surplus? We're prescribing these things more. We may needing these things more. So if we see these kind of sicknesses, we may need to get more people able to make this, or find ways to mitigate some of the uses for these pharmaceuticals. That may be change the diet. That may be, I don't know. It may be using some of these herbal remedies. So we're going to jump into some of the things that you may can be picking up or having, and then hopefully will help you get through some of these times when you don't have the prescriptions. So we made a short list of some of the things that we do and some of the things we use. And I'm gonna be cheating so I can look down here and I know exactly what I'm wanting to tell you. So we take a garlic pill a day. Garlic is good for intestinal and fungus infections. So what we've showed you videos before. We grow a lot of garlic, and what we do is we dry it and put it in these little veggie capsules, and we take this daily. Me and Misty both do, our kids do. We cook with it, of course, but we also take it in the pill form, so we're ingesting it, it's getting into our body. The next two, or the next three, clove, cinnamon, and echinacea. We are mixing that with elderberry, and we are now boiling it down, making the elderberry syrup. Now we have a video on that, and I will link that below. But what that does, it helps with food poisoning, oral and skin infections, strep throat, staph infections, of course, upset stomach, diarrhea, respiratory, urinary tract infection, yeast infections. Of course, I am not a doctor, I'm not even a nurse, my wife is, but that is what we do. We have an elderberry syrup that is made up of great things such as the cloves, the cinnamon, the echinacea, and also the elderberry. All those things can easily be done to boil, simmer, and make a nice syrup or tincture that can really help heal your body. We also do that with echinacea anyways by making a tincture, by mixing it with liquor such as an Everclear or a vodka, and then you make a tincture. Now again, you can find recipes on how to make a tincture. I'm not going to tell you how to make a tincture, but you can utilize the flowers that's just in your yard, like these coneflowers, these echinacea. They're beautiful. They feed our bees, but they do so much for healing us medicinally. Another thing we always do is we will turn around and mix some cinnamon with some apple cider vinegar, also with some honey. It's good for allergies. It's a throat soother. So maybe you're dealing with strep or dealing with a sore throat from all the junk we're dealing with respiratory in our world. It may be something as simple as mixing some apple cider vinegar and some cinnamon, some honey, putting in some water, and downing it. It's a kind of a nasty shot because that apple cider vinegar is pretty strong, but it's very good for us to make sure we are taking in these natural elements to our world, because that's how we healed our bodies years ago. That's what traditionally we did for pharmaceuticals. Nothing against the drug companies making pharmaceuticals, but sometimes we can just go back to the old ways, because some of those ways can really heal our bodies and help us. Now, I would challenge you not just to look for herbal remedies. If you're eating junk food, you're eating processed food, you're eating like crap, you're not doing any kind of exercise, you're just sitting around and you're being lethargic and lazy all the time, and you're just eating this junk, don't think that all these foraging and tools and vitamins and minerals are going to just really all of a sudden change your life. You're going to probably still be on a lot of those medicines. So when we talk about cleaning up our bodies and healing our bodies naturally, it may take us going out and doing some light workout in the yard. That might be what it is. It may take you doing just a nice jog, a walk. It's getting our bodies in a better shape to deal with the things that we deal with. We also take quercetin and zinc. We take some over-the-counter simple supplements, because all those things can help us fend off sickness. Vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin A. Are you out in the sun enough? Are you taking in enough good quality foods? So it's a holistic diet and changing ways that you look at your health. That will heal our bodies. I honestly believe if we started healing our bodies naturally, start eating more holistically, not eating just processed food and junk food all the time, I honestly believe we wouldn't then have to depend on the doctors and all the pharmaceuticals so much. Then I don't believe that we would be in such short supply of a lot of these pharmaceuticals and others too. If we just got them when we needed them, and they were not overprescribed, we didn't just use those as like a, Superman healing power. If we turned around and cleaned our body up and ate right, I honestly believe some of these situations could work themselves out. If you're depending on some kind of other pharmaceutical for your life, for a life-changing event, or for for safety of living, that's a totally different scenario. I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about these few here. If we would learn to heal our bodies naturally, if we learn to do more things naturally, if we learn to eat more holistically, if we learn to keep some kind of good pace up and not just be lazy, sometimes those things can heal our body naturally, where we won't have to depend on big pharma or these pharmaceuticals, or just going to the doctor all the time. We need to find the answer to the pharmaceutical issue, because ultimately when we need those things, we need those things. And I hate to see people, I know we want to lose weight, but I hate to see the people that want to lose weight are taking away from maybe life-altering medicines that we need for the diabetics, like Adderall. If you're a person that really needs it, then I want you to have it. However, Are we overprescribing some of this stuff and then all of a sudden making people more hooked on it? 26 million from 4 million just in the last 5 to 7 years? That is crazy. Why would we all of a sudden need 4 million back 7 years ago and now 26 million? That is the numbers. That's scary. And then on top of that, just again with our children, you hate to see sick kids and all this RSV going around, all this flu going around, all the strep that's going around, to not have amoxicillin and really not to have it and really be in short supply for a last month in America. That is absolutely crazy. So we talked about concerns and we hope there's solutions to some of the pharmacy issues. Not only that, we talked about some of the natural herbal remedies that may can help you. We have videos on things like moringa, on the echinacea, on elderberry syrup. Misty's has done tons of videos on the medicine shortages, and just go back and look at some of those playlists, because you can take natural elements, natural herbs, natural things that's in our world and forage them, and all of a sudden you have got healing agents. Really find a good quality book to teach you about herbal remedies. We'll link the one that we like for foraging and for herbal remedies down below. We'll also link some of the videos that we have went out and foraged and got a lot of these things. I mean, I think of moringa, I think of wild lettuce, I think of all these things that could really heal our body. If we would just learn about them, then maybe we would not put such a strain on the pharmaceuticals, and then we may not be in short supply. I think pharmaceuticals are amazing for what they've done and how much they've contributed to people living and having better lives. But if we abuse those things, then we're taking away from the ones who really need it. For instance, with Adderall, if it becomes a psychological issue where people are getting more depressed, if people are having more anxiety, people can't sleep, what does that lead to in a society? That could be very societal breakdown. That could be very dangerous for us. I'm hoping to really see some solutions there. But until then, I hope that you will do a few things. Try to clean up your diet. Try to take good quality vitamins and minerals. Take them naturally in with holistic food. Start foraging. Start finding herbs that you can grow. Things like oregano, things like the echinacea. I mean, all those things can be very good for your health. I also, just so you know, we talked about emergency preparedness. Lastly, is you can check the link down below with Jace Medical. You don't have to purchase them. I mean, you're going to spend $200 or $300 on some pharmaceuticals to have. But I'll be honest with you, we like having some emergency pharmaceuticals, and Jace Medical could help you there. There's a link below. You can go through the links, answer the questions. But then you can have stockpiled pharmaceuticals at your home, and that's a good feeling to have that little security. You can buy over-the-counter medicines, some antibiotics that you got from Jace Medical that you've gotten, which is huge, and then you can learn some herbal remedies. When you start doing those things and eating and cleaning up your diet, I really believe we're going to make a healthier America. Guys, I hope this video helps. Give me your opinion on it. Give me your thoughts on it. I hate to see anybody go without. When we talk about food, when we talk about, simple supply issues that people need, and medicine's another big deal. I mean, when people don't have it, it can be very life-altering and life-changing. So it upsets me. I kind of get that kind of sober feeling of, man, I just feel sorry for people when they can't get what they need. So give me your thoughts. I do believe we need healing as a nation. I say this as we end every video. I mean, I believe we really need revival, and I believe that comes from God and seeking wisdom from Him. But honestly, if we don't change the path of some of these things that we're going through, these shortages are not going to get better, and we're going to be going down this tumultuous hill where everything is going to be dependent on regulation, government intervention, and really panic and pandemonium, and that's not what we need. We need hope and healing and the blessings of living in the country we live in, and not some of the issues that we're starting to see. Most of all, be praying for our nation, but hopefully we'll find some solutions. So leave your comments below what you think of this video. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you have a great preparedness for this Christmas season, and really knowing us about Jesus and how He can impact our lives and change your life for the good, and ultimately give you a hope that sometimes this world can't give us. Guys, thank you so much for watching. God bless. Happy